In the heart of an untamed wilderness, where ancient whispers cling to the shadows, lies the enigmatic realm known as the Stolen Lands. A rugged expanse, once adorned with majestic forests and rolling hills, now bears the scars of betrayal and bloodshed, abandoned by its rulers to descend into chaos. This haunting landscape, draped in the melancholy of forgotten magic, beckons forth a tale of treachery and malevolence. The Stolen Lands, usurped by a power-hungry despot through deceit and intrigue, teeter on the brink of a new era. For generations, the Stolen Lands have spanned the southern border of Brevoy. Many attempts have been made to settle them, but to date, none have succeeded, making these 35,000 square miles of wilderness the largest swath of unclaimed land in the entire River Kingdoms. As tensions mount in Brevoy, one of Rostland's swordlords hopes to change that fact. She plans to issue charters to several groups of adventurers, sending them south into the Stolen Lands to reopen old trade routes and defeat the bandits and monsters who have made them too dangerous to use. By sending free agents south, this swordlord of Rostland hopes to create new allies without sacrificing her own position of power in Brevoy. You're all living in your region and in Restov currently. When you were contacted to join basically a great feast that is being hosted by a sword lord, and sword lords are basically these, just like the sword scions are. They are accomplished sword scions who rule different areas and rule some of the wild regions in the southern reaches. So they are well regarded as being formidable with their weapons, but also being pretty powerful. The sword lords, one of the sword lords, is someone that you are aware of named Lady Jamandi. She's a pretty wealthy and influential sword lord in Restov, and she has been hatching a plan for laying claims to the Stolen Lands and trying to basically tame and control and take over the Stolen Lands and expand the kingdom in that direction from Brevoy towards the Stolen Lands. And so she has put out a call to heroes. This would have been probably something that you'd heard about for the last week or so, that there's this event and that Lady Jamandi has put out this call to heroes, and that you would understand that there'd be great risk and great reward involved. And so for whatever reason, again, whether who your contact is, that maybe you all knew each other through or not, you would have all heard of this opportunity and would have been invited to join her basically at her hall, so she can explain a little bit of what her plan is, and you can decide whether or not you want to be a part of it, and if so, to what extent. That's really the context for the lead-in to it in terms of the storyline. There would be some other people that would be very notable that you would all be aware of as well, and that would be King Irovetti, who is the ruler of the River Kingdom, which is southwest of the Stolen Lands. That would be like the other region that you would have awareness of, that's also trying to lay claim to the Stolen Lands and has their own interests there. And so you would be aware of those politics in the region and those neighbors to the southwest. Let's see. So you have basically all accepted her call for heroes, and you have arrived at her hilltop manor. And there's a cobblestone path bordered by some oak trees, some hedges, and it goes up the hill for about a mile past a two-story guard barracks and some stables. There's a lot of thatched roof cottages and homes like that for the manor's servants that you can see as and observe as you're going along. The manor itself is 3 stories, and it is light gray mortared stone, surrounded by a hedge and rose garden with some very ancient looking oak trees. And you guys arrive, and as you're getting there on time, I assume, you guys would see some other attendees, what you assume to be other attendees, who appear to be other various, maybe mercenaries and interested adventurers that maybe you've seen before in passing, or again, maybe there's some tie-in with your own backgrounds with some of these other folks who are attending, and you can get a sense of that there's a pretty good audience here. But you would make your way in. There's some large ceilings, these large marble structures inside, and let's see, oil lamps keep the interior lit. And let's see, you guys are basically going to be entering into the Great Hall. So I'm gonna switch the map. All right. And this is why I needed you to have tokens, so I could put you on this map. Let's see.
Do I have token, or is it just my picture?
There's a site where you can take your picture and turn it into a token, and we can do that later, but at least I have your artwork to start with, unless somebody knows that site.
Yeah, I have it bookmarked.
It'll come in handy. And I think the way the module color coded these is these ones are all yellow for whatever reason. I guess that's just a NPC shade that they've gone with. So maybe if you make yours something else, that'll be easy to recognize. But yeah, so the Great Hall, as I said, you arrive and there are oil lamps here, several tables set about, and you're brought in from the south entryway. I assume, can you guys see anything on the screen?
I can't see anything now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still blacked out.
I need to get you added here. You need to have vision. Vision, man. All right. Scott, do you have anything now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you do?
I'm still black.
Okay. Working on yours too, yeah. Let's see. Vision. I don't know why this one even has dynamic lighting on it, but we'll do it that way since that's how that's set. Okay, so yeah, you guys get brought inside. I'm gonna move you through the doors into the Great Hall, and I'll let you arrive simultaneously. And again, you saw these other folks who are wandering in already seated inside. They have already seated themselves. A couple people are helping themselves to some of the mead. A couple others are eating some of the rolls and bread. They barely look up to notice you as you come in, and so you guys are standing there together. I'll let you decide how you want to seat yourselves. The guests of honor have not arrived yet. There's no one at the head table.
Do we want to sit together, or do we want to split up?
It'll split up just in case something happens. We'll have things covered. Split up. How about we sit near each other, but like at different tables? Here and here, something like that.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, so you guys are all still within earshot of one another and each other's conversations. Yeah, so you are seated, and as you are served. There are, again, some different selections on the table. Let's see. There's actually, I think, a description of some of these, which I think is cool. Let's see if I can find this real quick. So there's ale, wine, mead, water, roasted venison, roasted fowl. There are roasted vegetables, including some of the locally grown items that you guys would maybe know of, even local dishes that it talks about here. And yeah, there's so basically just 9 tables set up. You've got utensils and everything ready to go. Let's see. And yeah, so you look around and that there's other guests seated near you. And let's see, I want to give you a description of this one.
Fenwarden is eating, but also stashing some away for later.
Yeah, it's definitely a high quality meal, and you are served portions that are well beyond the attendee list. That they may have been expecting 5 times as many people for as much food as is out.
I love it when that happens.
Let's see. So there's a couple of other not familiar faces, but people sitting around you, and they aren't really making conversation with you all at this point. As you're like maybe just getting to the point of showing interest in who's around you, you suddenly are alerted. There's a man that walks in and a half-elven woman. They enter the hall. The man is wearing a real finely tailored cloak, looks very noble. The woman, on the other hand, appears to be dressed for battle. She's got a fine leather coat over top of chainmail shirt, and she has at her side what would be familiar to Dallett, which is the Aldori sword. So she's got that, and she walks and makes her way over to the main table. Let me move them to our layer. That's right. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't have a picture on his. It's weird, but okay. But you should see the Joseph's or Iosef is the blue one, and Jamandi Aldori is the half elf. Where is this? Sorry, guys. 1 second. All right. Yeah. So this is when she basically stands up and says, "Thank you all for coming. As we have major business to attend to, and we shall wait no longer." And first she sits down, and then the man stands up, and he speaks and says, "Greetings, heroes. I am Iosef Selelmius, Lord Mayor of Restov, and this," he gestures to the woman, "is Lady Jamandi Aldori. We both thank you for answering her call for heroes. You may be few, but we need only the best for this great task." Lady Jamandi offers everyone like a smile, and she steps up and says, "South of here, beyond Brevoy's border, lie the stolen lands. This disputed territory has been claimed time and time again by would-be settlers, but because the area has been a haven for bandits and monsters, it has never been held for long. Restov intends for this to change. If you have enough courage to drive off the dangerous denizens of the stolen lands, you can seize territory for yourselves and name yourselves baronesses and barons. Restov intends to recognize the legitimacy of any new rulers in this land, and none of the other neighboring realms will challenge you, or Restov and Brevoy will have your defense. We are prepared to provide some backing as a trade partner and military ally. If you end up claiming any of the land, you will indeed have all of our support." And at this, they raise their goblets and they say, "But the details of your individual missions and charters into the stolen lands can wait. First, I raise my glass to you, brave heroes. For now let us eat and enjoy the evening. Tomorrow promises to be a very busy day." And with that, there's a huzzah and a large drink, and some chatter begins after they sit down. And so you guys, let's see. Let's have you roll some dice. Does anyone have any lore or society skills? Recall knowledge, anything like that?
I believe I have society.
I have warfare.
Yeah, I have warfare lore, and I'm trained in society.
Farming
And
farming lore, yes, and society trained.
Okay, yeah, if you want to if anyone wants to try one of those society or any of your lore checks, you can make those checks and that will give you potentially some information, other information. Wow, you
think Joe got
nat
this.
20 to his society check.
Nice.
Okay, so I think you basic Fenwarden would have some inside information about Lady Jamandi that perhaps whether it was you or one of your counterparts or someone else that you came into contact with, you learned that her Aldori sword trails magical fire when it's strike or swung. And even though when it sits in her scabbard or whatever, it doesn't look any different than any other Aldori sword. You would have heard for sure that it shows like a trail of fire when it's swung and when it strikes, and that would be something that that would have taken a trial for her to complete in another region that's almost beyond comprehension that someone would live through. And so there's some depth to her background that you would have some knowledge of, and you would know about that sword being one of the key pieces to what makes her a sword lord and some of what she's known for. She would be like one of the greatest warriors that you would have known of in the region.
Alright.
Let's see. But what you do know is, and that's maybe more obvious to all of you who passed, everyone but Dallett probably had figured that part out on their own, but the part that just Fenwarden that you realize is that she's recently been at odds with the ruling house of Brevoy, and that you get the sense that maybe this isn't all being chartered by Brevoy, that this is more a reach for her and Iosif to create their own empire, if you will. And so you know that there's been some friction going on between the House of Brevoy and really her and some of the other influential nobles in Restov. See, you guys, as you're inside, and leading up to this, it was starting to rain when you got here. You just got inside right before the rain, and now that you're inside, even though this place is made out of marble, it's obvious that there's rumbling thunder outside and that the storm has picked up. Occasionally you'll see some flashing lightning in the distance through the windows, and let's see. You essentially are going to be offered a room in the manor to stay for the evening, and you can decide if you would like to stay in the west or east wing of the manor, and the others who are seated are getting similar offers and similar information. I'll let you guys think about that. I don't know that there's any other information to give you about what's different about the west wing or east wing, but there's your choice.
Any conversation around us that the others are having that they might know about one versus the other, so that let's make sure we go to one or not the other.
The others don't seem like they know the manor, that they're familiar with the manor, but you do see that it seems these two that are sitting in the upper right table appear to be getting along pretty well, to where you would imagine that they may or may not know each other and that they may or may not be staying together in the same wing. Maybe you're getting a sense of who knows each other and who's pairing up and who may stay nearer to one another, but nobody seems to know if there's any real difference between the east wing or west wing.
We should stay in the same place.
Yeah, I think we should all go to the same direction.
I'd say just go to the east wing.
All right.
Let's go to the east wing. The sun will rise there first, so we can get up earlier than everyone.
Well, you guys are still perhaps cleaning your plates and taking seconds and that sort of thing before you have to decide and be moved off to your wing. You do all take notice of a female human who's sitting here at this closest table to the front, and she is just very impressive looking. She is just absolutely stock of muscle and looks as if she's a barbarian to you, and somebody who's just physically impressive in terms of physical strength. You've got that kind of look from her, and then when you look over to this table, this gentleman is a dwarf who looks as if he's some kind of religious type, and he's dressed a lot more pleasantly, let's say. He wears like a really nice robe, and seems to be like he might be a practitioner of some kind of clerical powers. You're not sure exactly, but you're just seeing like that kind of difference between some of the people who are in the room, and those are more obvious to you. Others, you couldn't really, you're not exactly sure what their skill is or what they do, but there's another elf in the room. There's a halfling. This is a halfling seated here at the table with the barbarian. There's some humans. There's another gnome that would be maybe of interest to our gnome Reckla. This Tartuccio
Okay.
is a gnome, and he looks like he looks like he's a little bit like dressed up in some fine robes and silks. He looks a little stately. Looks more stately to you than like an adventurer might look. Like he stands out in that way, that he looks unusual, that he's dressed with these like sort of fine silk clothes and everything.
I'm wondering if we might see if any of these would like to hook up with us.
I don't see why not. We could definitely fill out the team a little bit.
Yeah. How are we doing on healing, and how are we doing on magic? I don't think I've got either.
Well,
I have a little bit of healing, but that's about it.
You have two people who have medicine training, but I don't think you have actual healing.
I do.
Spells, do you? Okay.
Reckla has heal.
Okay.
First level heal spell.
Yeah.
And battle medicine. And then some offensive spells. Cantrips, really.
Yeah, you've got. Yeah, I don't know what your flat side is with the three of you, but it's definitely a fair point. You feel like this is an opportunity to pick an ally that might, complement and build a little team that of complementary skills, right? And this is probably where then the three of you have made some contact with one another. I guess this might be a good opportunity for you to introduce your characters really to one another and describe what they look like, and then if you guys want to recruit someone else to the team, I'll let you decide.
Yeah. Well, Fenwarden's not exactly a social creature, but he doesn't want to be on his own. Yeah, he'll head over and sit down next to, that's Dallett, next to him, or stand next to him. And yeah, he's a tall elf. He's got his bow on his back, but not wearing his armor. And he'll lean over to Dallett and say, I think we should work together, and I think we should see if we can find someone else that will work with us, because I think there's some strength in numbers, as long as the numbers aren't too large. I think we need to have a small group, but
we'll respond back. Oh, hello. Yes. I'd be happy to work together. Do you have anyone in mind you would like to also recruit?
Well, it's that gnome that just snuck in on our conversation, so.
Yeah, Reckless
The nosy gnome.
settles on up into him. This idea teaming up.
Yeah.
It's nice to have someone around that can reach the top shelf. I think
Sure.
maybe I'll stick around you guys.
Yeah. I like the idea of claiming lands, and that sounds like a good way to make our mark. And I think there's enough lands out there that we don't have to worry about sharing quite too much. So, yeah. What about this guy sitting next to us? And they you like a holy man, sir? Are you a healer, or are you hoping to do this alone on your own?
Let's see. You will see. There's a check that we need to make to see what his reaction is. I would say it's probably society, or unless you think there's some other skill.
Let's see, diplomacy.
Diplomacy, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, if you want to do that. Oh, okay. So this is a good.
Go for it.
This is a good. This is a good point for me to bring up the idea of hero points. So because this is a particularly difficult setting and everything, we're gonna start every session where everyone's gonna get 1 hero point, and then at the end of every session, I'm gonna have you guys pick who you want to give a hero point to for another player, and then we'll just carry a balance. You can never have more than 3 hero points. No matter what happens, you can never have more than 3, but at least you'll start every session with 1. If you didn't use the 1 that you had, you're just going to get the 1. But you can, at the end of the session, you can give each other, basically it's a reroll for the most part, and you have to take the reroll. You only get the 1 reroll. Essentially, is you can also use a hero point to stabilize. So if you want to use it for that, so that's just something you can put on your sheets, and then I can actually put that on your tokens too, so that we can track HP and hero points. But I'll work on that after this session. And so everyone's got a hero point, so again, you can always re-roll. But in this case, the roll was a 5 on diplomacy. I'm gonna say, do you want to use a hero point?
Let's see, how far are we into the game? Yeah, I will use a hero point. Hopefully, I don't have any more rolls like that. And I'll use my hero point by what I said accidentally. I'll spill my mead on myself and start over again and say, "Oh, sorry, so clumsy of me." And I'll try again. And good sirs, would you like to work with us? Why don't we talk about how we as a group can achieve great things, greater than we can as individuals?
Yes, his name is Haram, and he turns to you and says, I'm Haram, friend. Who are you?
I am Fenwarden, the lands to the north, and I am here to explore new lands, and I like what I've heard tonight.
There is no other hope. We should embrace the inevitable. What brought you here, elf?
What brought me? Let's see. Find my background here.
He's a middle-aged dwarf, bald head, long salt and pepper beard is the description for him. Let's see, does anyone have religion?
Oh.
Yes.
If anyone would like to make a religion check?
Yeah. Reckla will be kind of paying attention, scoping them out, eyeballing them. And where's my religion? There we go.
Okay, yeah. So you would have some knowledge of you would recognize, maybe not even, he doesn't probably have a very obvious symbol, but you start to get a sense as you hear him speak. You hear him speaking in a very monotone tone, and you piece together from his appearance that he is probably a follower of Grotus, and that would be like a name that might pop into your mind. And just at looking at him, you're guessing that he's potentially one of their followers.
And I know nothing about that. I personally know nothing about that deity.
Let's see, so you're a gnome and you rolled a 24. Let's see, so I'm thinking you know a little bit more about it. I just need to find if there's a...
How do you spell it?
Oh, yeah. Groetus. So, Groetus. Yeah, if you want to tell us about it, since you're the one that passed the check, and you probably have faster Google than me.
All right. Reckla will say, something about you tells me that you perhaps have a closer relationship to the passing of the souls on this world than some others in this room.
I do believe that we are all headed for the same ending. How quickly we get there may be the only other choices we have.
Yes, the question is if you want to get there quicker or slower.
I am not in a hurry to die, friend, but there are certain things that make me feel as if the end times are near. I cannot discount it.
I wouldn't discount it either, but perhaps it's best to have friends at the end of the world.
Let's see, you can make a diplomacy or another check if you'd like to see how he reacts to your...
Could this be considered intimidation?
If you want it to be. If you were trying to do that in an intimidating way, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'm really trying to. I'm trained in
You're
intimidation.
just good at it.
But yeah, I'll give society a go. No, I'm gonna use all our hero points on this guy.
Ooh.
And I think at that he says, I do hope your final fate is distant and pleasant. And he just turns back and keeps eating and drinking.
Mm-hmm. Struck out on that one, fellas.
I care not for people that are difficult. We need someone that is eager to work with us as we are to work with them.
Yeah, I think you don't get much of a reaction from him at this point. He definitely would have. It would have helped if you had a dwarf in the group. It could have helped a little bit, but otherwise he's probably looking for other allies.
Yep, wasn't to be.
There are others, though. There are.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll awkwardly turn to the elf and go, "Do you want to join us?"
not that you are a second pick or anything.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Okay. So yeah, this is a very pale looking elf, and I'm trying to see what else about her appearance might be notable. I guess
Fenwarden, of course, is an elf. Obvious what type of elf she is, what her ancestry is.
Pale features and some of her facial features as being from a group of elves that are from a region called Keonan. I'll paste that in. And so her name is Jathal. I'll paste that in because I'll never be able to just spell all these. Let's see. Yeah, so Jathal is wearing this what is it? It's like a moon. It's like a moon logo as well. Like there's like a moon design in some of her clothing, and that might be the other thing that's the giveaway that she's a Kyonin. And so she turns to look at you. She seems very introspective. Definitely not even as maybe as sociable as the dwarf, and so she's got a very kind of low voice. And to your requests. Actually, can you guys, if you don't mind, could you put your character's name on your Roll20 and then put your name in parentheses? That way, when I'm looking up and talking to you, it helps me. Dallett, she turns and looks at you and says, actually, I want you to roll to see what her reaction is. Is there anything else you wanted to say other than that before I have you roll?
Sure, I'll go. We can become sword lords and then longingly stare up at the head table.
Okay.
Diplomacy?
Yep, diplomacy.
Okay.
Yeah, so she turns and she's got like this dark black hair. She doesn't wear any jewelry or anything like that, and she is next to her is a what you now notice is a scythe
Oh,
that she has, and it's leaning on the table next to her as she's eating. And let's see, so she looks you up and down and says to you, "It is good to have allies. I'm definitely not one to always work alone. It seems that information is best passed through others." And with that, she takes a tiny sip of wine, the tiniest of sips. If anyone has religion or would like to make a check on her, I assume you guys are talking to them and together and bringing each
Right.
other into the conversation. So, let's see if any of you recognize.
Fenwarden's doing great today.
ooh,
I know nothing. What's the religion?
I doubt this is gonna go well. Oh, not
Yeah.
terribly.
There you go.
So she's got the symbol that you eventually notice that she does have on one of her pockets on her. It's like the moon, and then in one of the moons you see what looks like a moth with a skull on its back. And
Ooh, death moth.
yeah, so you don't really know what that is exactly. It doesn't seem like a very familiar logo or symbol to you, but it definitely is probably one you'd seen before in passing somewhere, and for whatever reason you don't know what it's called.
I'm gonna ask her if she harvests moths with her scythe.
I like that. So she'll chuckle for that one, I think, even off of her sip of wine, she will have some sense of humor about that. She'll look down at it, and I think she'll get the sense that maybe you don't know it because she's probably used to that. And she says, "Oh, this is the token of Urgathoa,
Ooh,
and do not know of her."
I
no.
I do not.
Oh,
Urgathella?
Thoa.
Urgathoa.
Oh,
Yeah. So let's see what's up with this. This is a crazy one. So I'll read this to you. The chosen of Urgathoa do not dread the flaws of mortal flesh, such as aging, disease, or even death. For so long as they indulge in excess above all else, their goddess offers eternal freedom from such fickle constraints. So there would be the knowledge you might have of Urgathoa. And she, again, appears to be indifferent at this point in terms of she would probably join you if you continued to press her, or she realizes that she might be too far off the charts for you to understand.
Yeah, Fenwarden's kind of offended. That's nice. Let's talk to somebody else.
All right. You guys have any other thoughts in mind? I can explain who the other ones were again a little bit. This one over here is a highbrow dressed elf, or excuse me, gnome.
Um,
On the far side you had the female barbarian, and then at her same table you have a female halfling. Then on this, let's see, this table with the gnome is a human who is carrying a Aldori sword. So that one would be pretty obvious as to what he is here for. And then the other table in the upper right is human, looks like some type of warrior, human warrior, and what's the other guy's?
it's like a paladin, maybe? Champion, whatever it's called in this.
Yeah, that's weird.
He's got that armor.
Oh, yeah, he looks like another kind of warrior. Yeah, some kind of. He's got more of a, like in his armor, he's got, what does it say? Like a lot of animal skins and different leathers that are battle scarred on his armor.
Fenwarden's going to whisper to Reckla, why don't you go ask that fancy pants guy over there that's also a gnome.
I'm curious myself.
Oh, the other thing I meant to tell you is that the halfling is carrying a mandolin. So I think that's like a dead giveaway there. So that was the other thing I meant to tell you. Sorry. Yep. So you're gonna go speak with the gnome, gnome to gnome.
Yes, gnome to gnome.
Okay. They set this up to be. This is good. And you guys, you have a good mix of class or backgrounds too. Okay. So yeah, he's seated, facing away from you, and he's appears to be drinking wine himself and delicately eating some different herbs and vegetables. As you walk up, he looks up at you, and
It's a good day, kin.
he looks you up and down. Can you describe, what does Reckla look like? What does Reckla's appearance?
Reckla is wearing studded leather armor. He has a holstered morning star. He has pitch black cloak with various embroidered celestial bodies that are dotted around it. He's a little older than the average traveling, wandering gnome. He took on the adventurer's life a little later in his days, so he's probably like middle-aged. And that's about all I know about his physical appearance at the moment.
That's pretty good. Like I said, this guy he's got his hair slicked back a little bit. He looks like he's dressed up for a stately dinner. Like he's wearing the best things around, and he's got an air about him as the way he carries himself, that he seems like he's very likely from a different economic class than you might be from. That's just because it seems very obvious that he's some kind of nobility from wherever he's from. So that would be what you would be able to observe before you come up. And
yeah,
go ahead.
I know the heritage of my guy is a wellspring gnome, so I'm not sure if that's like comes with physical traits that would give me any insight onto what type of heritage he has. I don't know if it's necessarily just.
Let's see I guess if you wanted to try like a society check or something along those lines, you could potentially pinpoint something about his family.
Okay, let's see. 15.
Okay. He doesn't have anything that really you're able to pick out that tells you where he's from. I don't see anything that would be a giveaway there without maybe speaking with him. Let's see. Okay, I'll tell you this. You do see that he's wearing on his robe, that he's got a brooch on his robe that looks like it's crafted from a place called Pitax. So it's got a unique style to it. These Pitaxian kind of styled things are maybe something that would stand out. So I don't know where that is in relationship to where you're from or anything like that, but he would be from Pitax potentially, is what you'd think just from looking at him. But you don't know that yet. But
all right, I guess maybe Reckla will drop a mention of it. Maybe something along the lines of, "Oh, I've never seen a Pitaxian piece quite like that. Have you traveled through that region, or perhaps from there yourself?"
Oh, a man of the world. And he looks down. He says, "This old thing," and I'll have you roll to see your diplomacy. You can also use deception, or there's other things you can do. I don't mean to force you into diplomacy if there's something else you're trying to do, but it seems like a
Right.
diplomacy. So yeah, so you basically get a smile and a nod from him, and he says, "Yes, you have a good eye, friend. Tartuccio is my name," and he reaches over to give you a handshake, as is customary from where he is from.
Hmm.
And there's his name there, Tartuccio. And I think at that point you might observe that. Let's see. Just trying to think if there's anything else. What is he carrying? Yeah, you don't really see any other obvious things that he's carrying, but
Right.
he leans in and seems to grow friendlier towards you as a result of you asking about it.
Yeah.
And he
I think Reckla would want to just. I guess he'll say, "I've come here with grand hopes, and I've been fortunate to run into some other individuals here that I believe I'm meant to be traveling with, and we believe there may be benefit for us pooling our talents. And I'm curious to know what your talents may be."
oh, he looks around at you as you guys are now all moving over to converse with him, and he says, I
He's
am
surrounded.
a man of magic, as it might be. I employ it sometimes for good only, of course."
So we have more than just our kinship in common.
Oh, you are a dabbler in the mystical arts as well?
I am. They are a fascinating practice.
I see. I I agree. I agree. And so he's like looking you guys over, feeling you out, trying to get a sense
Hmm.
of you.
Catching the vibe.
You can roll let's see. I'll have you guys or actually Reckla roll another diplomacy check.
Oof.
And I think that Fenwarden will throw in his two bits at this point and say, I for one would be, I'm no sage, but I for one think that we would be best off with, yes, another person that is striving for good. We had a conversation with that over there, and they are striving for evil, and it's a relief to you, sir, that are striving for.
Oh, I see. He I think, kind of moves on to you in response to your appeal, but he doesn't seem like he's terribly
Not old.
enthusiastic. He's not terribly enthusiastic. He's not turned completely sour, but seems less enthusiastic than he did originally.
Yeah. I feel like Reckla wants to huddle up with the other guys. Guys, calm down. All right, we're coming on too strong. Play it cool. Play it cool.
What you do notice that his demeanor changes a little bit. That he seemed very impressed by you until you failed, and then when you failed, he really seemed to lose interest in speaking with you, and that now he's almost making eye contact with other people in the room to see who else he can talk with, kind of thing. So that's the state of it's a repairable situation. It's just that's the state that it's in. So I'll let you guys decide what you would like to do.
Seems to like Reckla more, so I'm going to leave the ball there.
I mean, you do have others that you could target if you felt like they had the right skills, and if he's the guy that has the skills you want, then
Yeah, that's true.
but that's up to you.
Okay, yep. Yeah, maybe the Reckla will say, "Okay, friend, we'll leave you with that thought, of course. If you decide that you'd be interested, please find one of us and let us know.
Oh, of course. I appreciate the offer. It's just it's early to make all of the alliances will maybe take more time.
Of course. Who you want to talk to next? One of the halflings?
So yeah, you've got human, seemingly a female barbarian and a male barbarian. So for Joe earlier, you made a Fenwarden did a crit on his society. You would have on that same roll succeeded on the fact that this gentleman in the upper right is a well-known, established fighter and warrior, and that he's got to be very much the most accomplished person in the room that's, signing up for this. So he would be somebody that would be going into probably a different engagement than those of you who are new to adventuring. That would be one of the things you would have observed. And then I think with Tartuccio, you would have observed similarly that he's got a little bit of experience, nothing near what this other guy has. This guy's Hannes, by the way. And so Tartuccio and he are the two most experienced people in the room. The rest appear to be more on your level. So that would have been something that information you would have had as well. So you've got human fighter here at the table with him. You've got what appears to be another human swordlord Aldori sword carrying fighter. And then you've got the female barbarian and a female bard halfling. And of course you can go back and speak to anyone and try to convince them.
Mandolin music isn't that bad.
Yeah, maybe he takes requests. So she takes requests.
Yeah.
It's almost like as soon as you said that, like you heard like a strum and the ring in the background. Like, did someone say mandolin?
Yeah. You can go over there and love to hear
Sure.
what she feels why is she here? What does she hope to, how does she hope to advance?
So, let's see what she wants to say here. She has on leather armor, and she has a cloak that looks as if it's been completely left outside for a year and then put back on. It's so tattered and worn. It's see-through, essentially not doing much. And she's got a leather-bound journal in front of her, and she's sitting back and looks like she's scribbling something. As you get closer, that she's actually drawing a picture of the dwarf that you spoke to first. She's drawing a picture of him, and as you get closer, she notices that you can see what she's drawing, and she says, "What do you think?" That's how she.
Fenwarden being practical is it a good drawing or is it?
I think, let's see. I'll roll for her to see how good her picture is, and I'll let you. There you go. So it's a pretty good looking picture for a quick sketch. It's pretty well detailed. You would see the talent.
Okay, yeah. So he'll give his honest appraisal and say, "Oh, it looks very good to me. Certainly better than I could ever imagine to do." And yeah, I think you're catching his personality. Such that it is for a dwarf. Yes.
Yeah, so roll a diplomacy, and you can plus this by 2 because you complimented her art. And it didn't go that well, even with the plus 2. But at the same time, let's see. So, yeah, diplomacy ends up being pretty important here at the beginning. These rolls are tough.
Yeah.
So she seems friendly, and she looks at you and says, "Are you 3 going to band together?"
But we are hoping for a 4th, and we're wondering what your skills are, because we're hoping you're a bard, and we're hoping that or that you have skills like a bard, and that you might be able to help us out. basement?
You aren't. She looks you up and down, all three of you, and says, "Have you been to Pitax lately?"
No, I have not.
Oh, I think Ben's muted. I saw him speaking, but I didn't hear him.
I mute myself? I did. I just said I'd never been to tax.
Oh, all right. She lets out a big sigh, like a big sigh of relief when you guys all say that you haven't been to Pitax. And she says, yeah, you get that sense pretty obviously that she doesn't want anything to do with Pitax at the moment. And so she starts flipping back in her journal, and you see some pictures of her. She's drawn what appears to be a panther, and she is standing with the panther, and she tells you about a story about how she is friends with a panther, and that she has other skills and abilities in the arts, and she very much seems to appreciate you for the fact that you recognized her artwork and complimented her artwork, and so she's eager to show you her accomplishments through her picture book of sketches that she's made, and she hands that over to you and lets you flip through it, and I think you would see some of the places she's traveled, some of the cities she's been in, and things along that line. Again, the more time you spend with her, you get the sense that she's a fairly accomplished bard, but she's not on the level of any of the other two in the room. She seems like she's still very much, her future's ahead of her. So
Fenwarden will make sure to ask her questions about some of the pictures that have to do with his forest scenes, and not the city stuff, but more of the wilderness ranger type stuff, and ask me, where is this? And do you recall what type of tree this was that you were drawing?
yeah, so she'll engage with you. You can roll diplomacy, and we'll see how she reacts. Again, you can use other skills if you wanted to. Let's see. So suggestions here could be performance, like you could perhaps sketch something in return. You could share information with her using like a society check if there was something like
What
that.
if I were to share, oh, I know about that tree that you've drawn. It's, did you know that it has a strange feature about it?
Yeah, she looks sideways. She's like, I don't remember that tree.
Oh, it should. It's an amazing tree that you've drawn.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And yeah, I think she, again, seems like she's an aspiring adventurer, very much like yourselves. And let's see.
Hello, we've chosen to stay in the East Wing tonight. If you want to think about it, we're going to be there, and hope to be able to connect back up with you.
That sounds great. Yes, I think I will very likely be staying in that wing as well. And I'm sure we'll see each other either then or tomorrow. And
Before we leave, I'm going to ask if she can make a drawing of me and then just stare off to the side and pose.
It looks mighty.
Actually, I think this is I would do a diplomacy check or a performance check or something along those lines, even intimidation if you feel like that's the.
There we go. Not great.
Yeah, she doesn't seem that interested in starting a new sketch at the moment. She lays down her pencil, and she maybe just goes on to now realizing that there's food in front of her. She's been sitting here this whole time just drawing, daydreaming. So that's what I'll do is we'll move you forward. You'll have a chance to interact with these folks again, but what happens is it reaches a point in the evening where Lady Jamandi stands up and she says, "My friends, I hope you have enjoyed the food and drink this evening." And you get a little round of applause from some of the folks who are still reveling in it. And There's a round of cheers. The room grows quiet again, and then she says, "You truly honor me to be here. This night is for you. And as heroes, you have responded to my call. And I can't wait to hear tales of your exploits in the weeks and months to come. Tomorrow I shall speak with each of you about your individual charters. I suspect it will be a busy day, so I suggest we make an early evening of it. After all, you have kingdoms to plan." And at that, you get a whole bunch of cheers and goblets raising to that. And she gestures to the double doors and points, says that my guards can escort you to your bedchambers, and I hope you will find them restful. We shall speak further tomorrow when we meet back here at sunrise. And she leaves the room with the Lord Mayor, who she was seated with. And the guards are just kind of standing there at the doors, expecting that eventually you guys will form groups into who's going to which side to stay. I'll let you decide which side you want to go on, and then I'm just going to roll some random for these others to see which side they're doing.
We want to watch where anyone goes.
Let's see. So, yeah, I'll move them to the side they're going as they're making their decisions.
Is this the east or west decision?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll move them into the...
Assuming
front of
that
the door.
east is. Oh, no, that would be.
Let's see. She's this way.
I'm assuming
So far
north is north.
So far it's a male-female split, but this is truly the die that did it. So 4, Hugh's going this way. And I need 2 more. So he's going this way, and yeah, so it rolled. There's the 4 and 4, that the way they're splitting up. There's enough room for everybody, so it's... And actually, yeah. So which way are you guys thinking?
We said before, right?
Yeah, that was just our initial reaction before we had any of this information. If you want to split up, I could go continue to work on my kinsman a little bit over the evening, but
If something's gonna happen, I feel like we should stick together. Just in case.
The one person that went with us is going to the west, right? Yeah. So the mage was undecided. Magic.
The bard is the one we made the most success with.
Yeah.
yeah, but that side also has the creepy lady with the scythe. I don't know how comfortable I am sleeping next to her.
This is very true. No one on the other side seemingly wanted to kill us.
Let's go with the first instincts and go east.
All right, yeah, I'm fine sticking with the east.
All right, I'm gonna bundle you guys up so I can copy your tokens over. And all black. Let's see. Do I have to give you vision again on this map? How does this work? No, you've got vision on.
I'll be back in a minute.
Yep. Oh, okay, there we go. So it should start to show something.
Still seeing the previous map at the hall. There we go. Yep.
Okay. Where is it? So you guys get assigned rooms. You are going to be assigned to area 1, or I'm sorry, let's see, area A3. So I'll move you over to this area, and it's like a couple of suites basically in this area, and you guys are assigned to A3B, which is this one. So I'll move you into there. And so
I think I snapped across the hall for some reason.
I don't know why it's... Let's see, I should be able to reveal some of this. I guess it's doing the lighting by room, so I'll just leave it like that because I think that's how they want this. But
Okay.
for Joe, you guys came through into the wing, and you came through the open area, and then you were assigned this suite A3B, and so you guys are in a connected suite where you've got 4 different beds, and you are essentially escorted there. And let's see, the storm outside is continuing. It's pretty steady and severe. You kind of overheard when you were out in the when you're in the main hall, you heard the barbarian woman talking about how she might sleep outside. And right now you're starting to think about that because you're like, wow, more power to her if she's going to do that. But it's pretty bad conditions right now, and there is lightning outside. It's one of those big fierce storms that's coming through and rattling this little building. But let's see. All right. Yeah, so that's really it. Anything else that you guys wanted to do?
Do they like walk us in?
They walk you to your suite and, shut the door, like a bell hop would do. They take you to your room and see that you're there, and then they shut the door and leave. So you don't get the sense that they're standing guard outside of your door or anything like that. You don't feel like you're captive in any way.
Certainly check out, is that a box or a bag or something like that on the floor there next to the door?
Yeah, there's a wardrobe in there,
Oh.
and if you poke around and check out the wardrobe just by opening it in the main area, that there's actually some nice, comfortable looking robes in there. There's 4 or 5 different robes in there that are various sizes, and they seem to have the crest of the House of Restov on them.
Dang,
Alright.
they got swag here.
Or bathroom robes or robes.
And looks like we have a window as well.
Yeah, you have a window, so you can look outside. It's difficult to see right now because of the weather, but it looks like a very open area right out your window over some gardens, and you can see hills and mountains in the distance lighting up every so often as the lightning is rolling by.
Is the window secure? Could we go out it? Could something else come in it, or can we lock it?
Let's see. So there's a oil lamp in here as well as a couple of potted plants, so you know.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, in the window, it looks like the window itself does not open in any way. It just looks like it's just a hard frame with glass in it, and you don't see any other preventative measures or anything. Just a window. Let's see. So you guys are going to sleep. Is there anything else you wanted to say or do before you did that, or?
Yeah, Fenwarden might obviously have his bow nearby, but otherwise, yeah, he'll.
Let me have you all roll perception checks. Okay, let's see. A couple things. I think the first. So you guys would have noticed when you were out coming into your room that there's a room that's neighboring your room where the dwarf and the human male are staying. So that room of its occupants. On the other side of you, you didn't see any occupants there. And then the Tartuccio, the gnome, he went into a suite across the hallway that I'm pinging now. So he's across the hallway, and then the other accomplished adventurer is directly across the hallway. So those were 4 of the 6 suites that you saw when you were walking here. That's what you would have observed as far as the occupancy. And let's see. That's it. At this point, double checking. I assume you're going to sleep. Basically, the storm starts to die down a little bit, and you're able to drift off into sleep. And lo and behold, in the middle of the night, there is a scream that rings out from the hallway, And I'm going to have you guys roll perception again just to see the order in which you awaken and act. And a critical fail will be someone who just slept right through it. But everyone,
That was a crate.
looks like everybody, Fenwarden might be
It was a
a
critical.
little groggy, I don't know.
He's used to sleeping outside. This is a
Yeah.
soft, comfortable bed.
Yeah, so Reckla would be the first to definitely hear what sounded to be a male voice screaming in what sounds to be like in terrible pain coming from out in the foyer area.
I think he'll yell for his first thing will be to say, Dallett, Fenland, did you hear that? And then possibly get up and go to the door to listen if he's hearing footsteps, commotion of other sorts.
Okay. Yeah, so you get to the door and you hear what sounds like the sound of fighting. And you hear metal on metal, and you hear things moving around. It sounds as if there is something for sure, some skirmish going on out in the foyer area. It sounds like it might be down the foyer area back the way you came this way.
Okay.
Wrapping over the leftovers. Okay. So can we get up now and
Yeah, you can all awaken and you can all join him at the door, and I'll have you roll your first initiative.
I'm gonna say my intention is to if it's just a skirmish between the people that we met last night, then we'll leave it the way it is. But if we're being invaded, then perhaps we can lend a hand.
Oh, and by the way, in this game, there's an assumption that you don't sleep in your armor unless you say that you're sleeping in your armor. Basically, I'll give you guys that as far as the first thing you would probably do is put your armor on, I'm guessing, before you
Sure.
go outside the door. Going forward, we'll just assume that's the case, but if you tell me that you're not, let me know, because you're allowed to. It's just that there's penalties if you do sleep in your armor and stuff like that. But
Sure.
so you guys, yeah, you're able to don your armor, and at that point the noise outside dies down a little bit, but there's still noise. So it looks like it's Fenwarden's first.
Okay. So yeah, I bow in hand. I will go through the door.
All right.
And so that's first action.
All right, so let's see what you're seeing right now. All right, yeah. So you step out into the hallway. When the door opens, you look out, and one of the guards laying slain on the floor, and a man wearing black standing in front of you, and he looks as if he's got blood on his hands. Behind him, there's two others, and I think you can see them. They're dragging off the dead guard. So the dead guard is back here, and they're being drug off by two of these guys in black. They look like they might be human on first look. And this one is standing nearest to you. Looks like he was the one that did the act.
The perp.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I'll ask questions later and release an arrow at him.
All right.
Being good, I don't care for what he just did. So he appears to have done. So let's see here.
That is a miss.
Okay, and then my last action is another move. What is this? This guy.
Probably what, 30?
Probably.
That is yours, and actually need to put these guys in here. All right, and so that's Fenwarden's turn. He came out, took a shot, and step back, you guys would have seen him step outside the door and shoot his arrow down the hallway in that direction. So looks like it's Dallett next.
Oh. Step out of the room. Is this the one that was...
Yeah, so this is the one that has blood on his hands. There's a puddle of blood from him all the way down the hallway to where these other two are dragging the guard off.
Okay. I guess I will move over here and draw my sword. And that'll be my turn.
All right. You are... Yep, you're right beside him, and then that brings up Reckla.
All right. Reckla will start. His first action will be to load his crossbow,
Okay.
and then he'll head out. I guess he'll head out. Yeah, he'll just step out there.
Okay.
Okay, and so who's who?
Yeah, sorry, you guys are all coming out of the
Okay.
dark, literally. This is the killer,
That's the perp,
and back
then
behind
that's...
him are his accomplices in the body.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got you. All right. I guess he's just gonna let loose that bolt. He didn't load it for nothing.
Oh
Oof.
my goodness. What, did you roll a 2? You don't have any
I rolled a
bonuses
2.
to that roll? That's weird.
No,
Are
I
you
guess
not trained? Are you not trained in it?
No, I am trained in it. I just might not have said it right.
Yeah, double check. It's not going to help this particular roll, but if you are set
That would
for
have added
trained,
3, yeah.
yeah. But so you send a bolt down the hallway chasing after Fenwarden's arrow, but unfortunately missing your target. And
Last action, he'll load.
I think you're out of
boat.
actions, or do you have?
Oh, I guess that would be 3. No, that would be 3. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So let's see. That brings up our cutthroat, and our cutthroat was looking in your direction when you came out, but at the same time he was not prepared, and so he reaches down to his side and pulls out a hand crossbow with his first action, and he lifts the hand crossbow towards the gnome and takes a shot at Reckla. What is Reckla's AC?
Reckla's AC is 13.
Let's see. I don't know if this will roll or not. There we go. Oh, that's cool. So I can actually roll and show you the roll. So he misses you terribly with a hand crossbow shot, and ricochets his bolt off of the wall as well. And with that, he reaches down. He's already got a dagger in his hand, and he turns towards Dallett and thrusts the dagger forward towards Dallett. So this is his attack. 23.
Ooh, that hits. Definitely hits.
5 damage. It wasn't critical, was it? Shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still like a third of my hit, but
yeah, this is the tough part about this level. These are big hits. Every hit's a big hit. Okay, so he's out of actions. He's struck one of your team with his dagger, and then his buddies behind him. One of them moves in this direction with the body, and he moves out of the sight line for those of you who can see him at all right now. And then the other one, he steps forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He comes up to here.
Wait a minute, he drew the cross. Okay, cool. Totally missed a chance to do something. All right.
So I think that this guy has a shot. Yeah, this other one runs around the side, and he's now, those of you who can't see around that obstacle, he's now standing in the opposite hallway there, right down here, and he can see Fenwarden, and he's going to take a shot with his hand crossbow towards Fenwarden. He is... Oh, I'm getting some rolls here. I've rolled a 17 and an 18 respectively in a row here. I assume that's a hit. 4 damage. That's not critical, is it?
13. That is a critical, yeah.
Ah.
AC is 13. Did not have a shield raised.
So he takes I guess he takes the 12.
Wow. Okay.
Critical
No,
hit.
that shouldn't be a critical.
Why
Is it? Oh, okay. Never
Your
mind.
your AC's 13?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I can't believe rolling a little too well here. So
Why
are you
is it getting that? Damage is 4, but critical is 12.
It rolls a separate damage. I think the macro rolls a separate damage in the event that it's a critical hit, and it multiplies the separate damage by 2. So sometimes it's going to work in your favor. This time it did not work in your favor this time. It was, yeah. Are you still standing?
Yes, still
Okay.
standing.
Okay. All right. So the crossbow bolt tears through, and with that, he starts to reload it with his last action. And that brings us back to the top of the order, to Fenwarden.
Let's see. We've got the one guy's pretty well in hand. I'm going to choose, I'll spend the first action making this guy my hunted prey.
Okay.
And then, yeah, next action will be to fire an arrow. Do bad rolls before. And
They're AC 15, by the way, just so you guys know.
15, huh? Yeah, his third action will be to raise his shield.
Okay. All right. Shield is up on Fenwarden, and Dallett is next. I'll put a little shield on you.
Look that up by chance. I'm going to attack that guy in front of me with my dueling sword.
Oh,
okay, cool.
That is a crit, my friend.
Someone can do something.
Holy cow. Okay. All right. Tell us how you completely annihilate this guy in one shot.
I'm just gonna do this sort of stumbling thing, like a Mr. Bean-esque, just swinging my sword and hoping for the best, and just slash right across the chest and be very surprised when he just goes.
Yeah, so you, with great precision, land your shot exactly where you saw it in your mind's eye, and you spill his blood far worse than he did to the guard. So
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
he falls.
All right.
That was a big hit.
The stride action is that
healing.
2 steps?
Someone's got that.
What was that, Ben?
I was saying Fenwarden could use some healing if anybody got a free hand.
Sadly, I don't have battle medicine, so I don't think I can do it while we're in combat.
Yeah,
take 10 minutes.
The gnome is your source of healing now.
Yeah.
I got you.
See, this is good too, because you guys get to see where your strengths and weaknesses are before you go recruiting that number 4, right?
Yes. Oh, I didn't get out of the building, so
I guess we needed them all.
Okay, a stride action, is that your movement? Or is that just taking a step?
Does it have a free action or an action on it?
Stride is just like your regular movement, like if you're just moving, right?
Yeah.
And,
as opposed to dash, right? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, but I just want to double check. Okay, then I'm gonna do I'm gonna use a feat here. I'm gonna do sudden charge, and I'm going to swing around this corner and get to that guy.
Nice. Okay, and you get a free attack because you're within range.
And I'm gonna try to chain this together. Does that? I guess I don't have an action.
You don't really
left,
have an
so
action.
I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I'm just gonna do the attack then. Still trying to figure this whole thing out. All right.
Wow, okay, this is a hit. Yeah, so your sword is striking true this early morning. Yeah.
Just blood from one to another.
Yeah, where did you slash him at with this shot?
We'll just go for a leg there.
Okay. Yeah, so you've got a pretty serious injury on him. It looks like he felt that greatly. You had a hell of a turn, my friend.
Okay.
That's it, I think, right? That's 3.
Yeah, that's all from me.
All right. And with that, you hear the doors, a couple of doors and movement from this area. And the first thing you hear is this door in the back here opens, and a familiar face and voice step out. And then, "What by the gods is going on out here?" says the gnome Tartuccio wearing his robe. Suited in his robe. And he pokes his head out.
It's just a bit of murder. Go back to sleep.
So he pokes his head out and sees the blood and kind of sees what's going on and takes note of it, and his demeanor changes, and he starts to actually move over towards this direction by Fenwarden. And so he's like standing here now, and it looks like he's going through his pockets looking for something. And that brings up Reckla.
Okay, am I correct in that Dallett also took some damage on that?
Took 5.
That skirmish? Alright.
Ah.
Reckla's gonna cast heal. The 3 action variety.
The emanation variety.
Yes. I don't have it quite all set up yet, so what is it? I gotta do
30 feet, so you're good there. And it's
increase the hit points restored by 8. So what is it? It's 1d8 plus 8?
yeah.
Or,
Actually, is that right? Let's see.
yeah, not
Increases
by
by 8.
Yeah.
I think it just means you another d8, right? Is that the way you read it, or
I don't know. It's just
It says 8.
because it just says 8, so it's 1d8 plus 8, I guess is what it is. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. 10.
All right. So there's a little bit of fortitude back. What does the healing emanation look like to those who are seeing this for the first time from Reckla?
I think he gets himself into a simple trance state, and almost like a shock wave flies out from him and just spreads out into that 30 feet. And as it washes over people, light emits from where the wave crosses over their body, and especially over where their injuries are. It's like the light just blasts out of him. And when after the light is flashed, it's healed to whatever extent the healing did to the...
Yeah, so all of you would feel that sensation, and you would restore your 10 hit points. And I think that would be all Reckla can do.
Mm-hmm.
So that then brings up this other guy. So actually, no, he goes after the cutthroat. All right, so the cutthroat who's now standing face to face with the Aldori swordman is going to contemplate his career decisions. And let's see if he wants to or not stick around. Oh, he's true to the cause. He's in it to the end. It's to the death. Is it? All right. So he's already loaded his hand crossbow. He's gonna raise it and shoot at Dallett. That's a miss.
Misses.
All right. So he whiffs on a hand crossbow shot as he's raising it, shoots too quickly, bounces it off the ground. At that, he drops his hand crossbow, and he produces a dagger and swings with the dagger.
I'm going to take an attack of opportunity.
Go for it. This would be a good one.
I guess that just counts as an attack, right? Does that get affected by the multiple attack penalty?
No, it's because it's a one attack. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he as he's trying to wind up with his dagger, you take a shot, but he's able to dodge it, and then he swings in with his dagger back at you in a knife fight, I see, and he connects and does 6 damage. Or actually, that's not a crit, right? You're 15
Nah.
or okay.
17.
17. Oh, that's right. You're the tank here. All right, so he's out of actions. He's dealt a blow back to you, but you're still on the positive side from that round thanks to the heal. There's another one that is returning. So this one, 2, 3, 4, 5. You start to see coming down the hallway, Reckla, is this other cutthroat. And he sees his dead mate. He lifts his crossbow in
Well,
your
I have a
direction.
question about that actually.
Sure.
Would my heal have brought that guy back from dying?
He has to be willing.
Oh, that's a good point.
And so the way I interpreted that was that he's not necessarily willing because he's not associated with you. And the other one around the corner wouldn't even have seen it. That's the way I interpret it, but I am curious. I think that you could have some fun with that ruling. But this is probably that'll be for another time. I might go that route. I'll have to see what it says, but
For sure.
the one who comes back, he takes a shot at you down the hall with his crossbow. 18?
That's a hit, yeah.
Okay, so he only does 3 damage, but you get pierced with a crossbow bolt, and he immediately starts reloading the thing, and that's the end of his actions. The next thing is you hear what sounds like some heavy movement. You think maybe the portcullis might be raising. It sounds pretty damn loud. And at the same time, this door opens here, and Hannes, who was the most accomplished looking warrior, he steps out. He's it looks like he's fastening his armor on his chest strap on as he's stepping out and looking around in the hallway with his eyes squinted. So he's joining the fray here in this turn. And let's see what else. Let's see where I think that's it for them. So it's back to the top of the order to Fenwarden.
Figured out that he actually does have armor on, so that was weird because I put in all the armor stats into Roll20 and it all disappeared. That's why I have such a low armor class. So he's doing much better now.
Oh, good. Okay, cool. Cool.
Let's see. He did have a shield raise, so now he's going to try some more shots at his hunted prey, which is the guy down here. First shot. Okay, that's getting better. His armor class?
That's a hit. Yeah, that's dead on.
Key points. Plus, he also does an additional, because he is a precision shot class feat, does an additional 1d8 points of damage on his first hit against his hunted prey. So it's an additional 8.
He falls over.
All right.
Yeah, so I think, maybe, describe how you thread the needle past Dallett and struck this guy in the perfect spot and dropped him.
Yeah, no, I waited till Dallett raised his arm, and then a shot under his arm in that space.
Nice.
And not only that, but he did manage to, using his vision ability, managed to catch the guy in the weakest part of his armor.
Yeah, so just thunk right through his rib and right through his abdomen, and he falls over in a heap. So he's dead.
Okay. Great. Okay, so that was first action. Second action will be to change his hunted prey to this other guy that he can see up here. And then third action is to fire second arrow.
Oh, wow. That is a hit.
Even with the minus. Very nice. Great damage.
Just
and that
1 damage.
I wonder if you can do that twice in one.
You sure it's just 1 damage? It seems like you would have a plus for Dex and a plus
It should
for.
be 1d6 plus 1.
That doesn't get applied to damage though.
Oh
And
yeah, that's right. Yeah, for
only
damage.
impulsive weapons that get applied have the strength modifier applied to damage.
It's already got his Dex and his attack. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this weird. Oh, here it is. It's one die 8 plus. Oh, sure enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think he should get his precision last beat as well. I just want to see if there's a restriction on that as far as only once per turn, or if it's anybody's got a kind of shot on. I see that. That's a ranger, I guess. Trained aim praise weak spot. First time you hit your hunted prey in a round. Also deal 1d8 additional precision damage. Yep, so I'll do that again.
All right, 4 more.
That worked, but I got that one guy right where his breastplate joins his groin, so I'll try it on the other guy as well, and that worked there also.
Yeah, so you found a weak point in his armor, and you've struck again. So you've got 2 hits in 1 turn with your longbow. Nice. All right. And then Dallett, you get to reorient now that you've got this defeated one laying in front of you.
Okay. I will turn over my shoulder and say, "Nice shot." And I don't know about the guy on the other side, do I?
You hear something. You definitely would hear the sound of battle. So you might be interested to see what's going on over there, I would think.
And
You may not know exactly where he's at, but
I'm going to take the long way around just in case, and use the sudden charge to get behind him. But I'm not in anybody's way.
okay. All right, yeah. So
I will take my attack.
Oh my goodness.
This is going to be the end of this third cutthroat.
Okay.
So tell us about this charge.
I'll charge in, see the guy, and yell, "Have at the knave," and swing for his back.
Nice. So he just crushes, like folding like forward the wrong direction. Like his back bends the wrong direction as you strike him forward, and he falls over in a complete slump. He is dead as well. So yeah, that is it for the present enemies, but just to be clear, you are hearing sounds coming from back towards the main section of the wing in this direction. So you do still hear skirmish coming from that direction. It sounded again like maybe they lifted the portcullis or something large was moved. So I'll give you that just before you, because I think you have one more action.
Yeah, I'll just move there.
Okay.
Just step over the bodies.
All right. And yeah, you basically have to. It's pretty slippery on the floor over there, I would think too at this point.
I was wondering if it was difficult terrain.
Yeah. So Tartuccio, the gnome, the upscale gnome, he makes his way towards this door, and he begins to try to open this door, and he realizes that he can't get it to open, and he looks a little maybe a little annoyed by that, and so he again is looking for something in his pockets, but he's having difficulty getting through the door, and he's trying to figure out what's going on over there. That's his turn. Reckla, you're up next.
Let's see. All right, I don't really have anything that's going to get me through the door, so I'm going to cast, what is it, Guidance. It's one of his innate spells. And I will cast it on Dallett. Just because I feel like maybe he's the one who's going to get us through that door.
Roll these. Oh, that's nice.
Cool. Yep. Another action?
Yeah, I guess that was only a single action. Or wait, is Guidance a single action?
Oh, I don't know.
It is. Yeah, it is. Okay, so I have 2 more actions. I guess I'll move forward and be ready to roll through. I'll stand there. And with the final action, he'll prepare to cast a spell. Wait, okay. Let me change that then. He'll walk over next to Fenwarden and cast magic weapon on his bow.
That's 2. That would be
Oh,
one.
that is
One
2
too
actually.
many.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, if you didn't have to touch it.
Yeah. I wasn't wasn't I standing? Yeah. Weren't we standing next to each other?
You're standing next to Dallett, so you could do his.
Yeah, I'll do that then.
Yeah.
I'll put it on his sword.
So you gave him guidance
Ooh.
and magic weapon. Cool.
Yep.
You're buffed. You're double buffed.
Go get it done.
Just standing there glowing. Jesus.
So so I think you hear some shouting and some voices in that area through here, and let's see, Hannes walks over next to Tartuccio and walks up right beside him, and he kicks the door as Tartuccio was starting to get it unlocked, and he kicks the door and it swings open. And so inside of this area is actually a large indoor garden with lush plants and vines hanging from the walls, and there's a stream of water in it that's flowing in there. And so you guys may have seen this as you passed through, I would have imagined. I think that you came from that way, if I'm not mistaken. And so you would have seen it. I guess not, actually. Yeah, I guess not.
Yeah, you can clear from the other side.
I would have think you didn't. Even though this is the east wing, it's showing as if you connect back as if you're in the west. Weird. Yeah, because I think it's like they have them labeled backwards.
Reversed.
Yeah, but okay, so yeah, you wouldn't have seen it before, but you may have heard of it. It might have been something that was chatted about a little bit, and now that the doors are open, you can see in there, and you see a couple of figures in there as well. I don't think I can remove the barrier. Let me double check. Maybe I can. Did that open up any vision for anyone?
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so the door's kicked wide open now. Hannes is producing he has a throwing axe in his hand, and he's moving towards the room, and now that the door's open, he's moved in there. So that is going to bring up Fenwarden. So you can see, I think you probably have the best view right now. I don't know, how many are you able to see? You can see it probably 3.
Yeah, I can see 3.
Okay.
I'll take the farthest one here. I'll start out by squinting my eyes and staring at him, saying, "You're my dead man."
You've been marked.
Yes, you're next in my book, buddy. And then try the longbow that is within still short range.
I'm thinking that you're feeling more inspired too because you're seeing this forest, this little forest in front of you, so you feel more comfortable.
What are you doing polluting that area? I should have slept there. I wish they'd asked me.
Yeah, you could have just slept out there. Oh, okay. So yeah, that is a strike.
Okay, and his damage on that guy is additional 3.
And again, it was this middle one?
No, this top guy here.
Top guy, okay. All right, yeah. You see him stagger backwards pretty significantly, as if he is stumbling.
I see, majorly. Okay, he's still my 100 prey, so I think I'm gonna fire again to try to finish the job. Yeah. Are they armed with any bows or ranged weapons?
Yeah, they have, each of these guys has a hand crossbow and...
Oh, that's right. They have
Yeah.
hand crossbow. Okay, I'll take my second shot. Oh, good. That worked too. Okay, so 3 points on that one.
Oh, he falls over dead. Boom. You have another action, right? Oh no, you did hunted prey. Okay.
Nope. Yeah, I had to hunt right. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So good turn. You took him down. 2 connections. You're
Yeah.
pretty good rate of hitting so far with the longbow too. Dallett is up.
I had to get it warmed up first, but
Let's see. I think I can only get to there. Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, I'm going to move to here. All right, neat. Didn't realize there were that many enemies in here. Oh, I don't really want to be in the water. Never mind. Hold on a second. Measure from back here again. 15, 20, 25. There we go. We'll get to the bridge. I will go and stand at this bridge and ready in action that if somebody comes within melee range or attacks me, I'll attack them. And tell them that you won't get across this bridge, scoundrels.
I love it. I love it. All right, so we've got the bridge keeper in place, and now behind you follows the gnome,
Oh,
and he runs
great.
through. He runs up.
Intimidation roll on that, actually.
Sure. Yeah, go for it. I think that's a
I
good
can use
call.
that +1 from guidance, I think, on that. Attack saving skill check. Yeah, okay, cool. So I'll try to demoralize them. And alright, whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's certainly noticeable to him that he has this Aldori swordsman with blood on his sword, standing on the other side of the bridge, telling him you shall not pass. He's taken note because he just watched his friend fall, like 2 moments ago with a back-to-back arrow shot with an arrow in an arrow type of thing. So yeah, so they take note of that. Tartuccio comes into the room. By this point, he seems to have produced some kind of little trinket from his pocket, and he looks like he's starting to cast a spell. However, the effects of the spell aren't apparent to you at this moment. Reckla is up next.
Okay, first action, he's just going to move his full single action move. And then he's going to cast Daze. He's going to target this one here.
Okay. All right, so he gets a basic saving throw against 17. Okay. These blades, the artwork for the guys you're fighting is pretty cool. I'll show you guys here in a second. Yeah, he's got to do DC 17. He fails, so he is dazed.
He takes 4 points of damage. Mental damage.
All right, he has taken said damage. Let's see, where is this guy? I wanted to show this to you. This is what they look like.
Definitely up to no good. Look at him.
Yeah, he's full bandit mode there. Not hiding intentions whatsoever. Yeah, you might need a bath and a haircut, but yeah, after this he'll need a grave. All right, so I think that's probably the best place to end it. I know we're right at time, and I can bookmark us right here in this combat since you're entering this new room. I think we've got everything noted correctly. You guys have all acted this turn, so let me have them return fire here real quick, and that's where we'll pick up is them returning fire, and then a new round. So how's that work for you guys?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. All right. I think we got everything. I'll probably make some tokens for you guys so that they look the same as the others. But if you've got anything else, any other ideas or anything you want to run past me, we could chat on Discord. And if not, I think this is a good stopping point, and we'll pick up in 2 weeks.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Pretty good for a session 0.1 or whatever.
Yeah, I was expecting it to take more time to do the character creation, but you guys knowing your stuff, you did your homework and you showed up with pretty well-formed characters, so it didn't really take that long to make
Yeah.
decisions about the characters. So that was nice. And I might have been banking for more time, doing that. I didn't know how far we would get into this, whether we'd get into all this combat or not, but it worked out
Right.
well that we did.
Yeah, I feel like I'm starting to learn a little bit about how the character should function. So
Yeah,
Yep.
and now you guys, like I said, you'll know a little bit better about what your opportunities might be to get better in terms of finding the right complement and testing yourselves here in battle. But I'm succeeding because I've already got the party to split up. So I feel like that's a huge success on my part. No, it was fun though. It was fun, guys. I'll get a little bit more familiar with some of the things that are going on in this module and stuff too. So next time will probably be a little fewer delays and things like that. And I know like when you guys make a new character, at first it just takes a little longer to learn the skills and everything. So
Well, yeah,
we'll all
it's
learn
also
together.
like setting up the character sheet. There's all sorts of little settings in there that you miss or something, and so it's
Yeah.
but it's fun to get to play a new character.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
It's fun to get to play.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's good
Yeah,
to see.
this was
It's good
great.
to see Joe playing. It's good to see Joe putting Joe on the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta see Joe making some moves here. He's a marksman with that longbow. I'll tell you. Watch out.
No kidding.
So.
Start. Yep. All right.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. We'll catch you in a couple weeks.
Thanks,
Have a good one. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Good night.